This is Happy Monkey.
This is Happy Monkey.
Happy Monkey. Happy Monkey.
This is Happy Monkey.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, man, I wonder what Great Dean tastes like, man.
I don't know, man. Hey, how's my driving?
I think we're parts, man.
Oh, it's a message from Cody G, Molly P, out from Minnesota.
From Minnesota, bitch, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? This week, the podcast has a sponsor, ArdentCannabis.com. They're known for the Ardent Nova, which is a decarber, but now they have a new Ardent where they decarb and infuse in the same device. So if you use our code MONKEY, MUNKEY, when you're checking out, you get $30 off your purchase. So please go on and check them out. They got a bunch of other devices. Hey, you might get lucky and find something that'll help you cook in your kitchen.
Yes, everybody. Today on the Happy Monkey Podcast, we got a very special guest. We got a very queen dem in the building.
Hi, guys.
Yes. She is a
bunny.
absolutely, definitely all sorts of entrepreneurship going on in the building today. But everybody, if you're familiar with gaming, you're familiar with hip hop, are you familiar with just being a queen? Are you familiar with this? Vladimir, do you want to keep on with the details, please?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen out there out in Happy Monkey World, today we have a Dominican Renaissance woman that has taken the music industry, the gaming industry by storm. And she is an influencer on gaming and Twitch. She's also a recording artist for Sony Rings. Am I correct? Lost Rings.
At Sony.
Our sister from another mother, BunnyMightGameU's.
So please reintroduce yourself, everybody, and let them know where they can find you.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here. Happy Monkey World has been a world that I've been wanting to step into. You know, when they have those crossover episodes, I wanted to do that so bad, and I'm so happy I get to do that. So hi, guys. My name is BunnyMightGameU. You can find me on all platforms. BunnyMightGameu. And I'm so happy to be here. Hi, guys.
Yes. What's going on, young lady, with your lifestyle, man?
I don't know, man. I feel like the Rona in 2020 has definitely changed my lifestyle a great deal. Can you guys agree?
Yes, definitely changed the dynamic on the way people live their life now. But you know, we've been through worse. We'll make it through.
I think
stay
it's
positive and optimistic.
That's the best way to look at it. Like, we'll make it through, because it's not a one-day thing.
Exactly.
No, man. So talk to me about BunnyMightGameU. Not, because, all right, so I know her for a very long time. We literally from the same block, everyone.
Yeah.
Not from like the
Block work, ladies and
from
gentlemen.
the same block.
Google
so we know
that.
each other for a
Block
long
work.
time. So, it's not fair for me. I know all the shit, but right, I gotta ask you all the questions for people so they can understand what's going on with Bunny, right? So Bunny has hosted, she's done all sorts of shit. She's always been in the entertainment industry one way or another. So now you're into gaming. So talk to me about that. How did that happen?
The funny thing is, it's like people say, now you're into gaming. I've always had to try to remind everybody, even on the block, there was always this essential part about me. Like, people always knew there was a lot of comic book, a lot of manga. I would watch really weird shit on Adult Swim, or when MTV would have what MTV would have, like those really weird Eon Flux and all of these weird super quirky, but Daria quirky, or quirky but Eon Flux, like sedated,
dark,
weird quirky. I mean, one of the things about me is I used to hoard a lot of what people in the hood would call useless information. And it would only be useless depending on where I was at the moment. Culturally, when I was in the Heights, it's like, okay, it was kind of useless that I knew exactly what was going on in Earth 616 versus regular Earth. Whenever you're reading the canon as far as, DC versus Marvel, pre-95.
So how
did that? Like, nobody cared about that shit in the hood, really.
That whole aspect of the comic and all that stuff. How did that play a role into you getting into gaming and cosplay and all that stuff?
Well, it played a role because for me, I was the girl in the hood that would, and you guys remember, I would kind of cosplay in real life. Like I would closet cosplay. I would go outside and have like, I remember when Aaliyah had her video for Are You That Somebody? I would like cosplay what Aaliyah was wearing for her music videos. Or, you know, a little later on, not when I was an adolescent, when I was like in the club scene and I wanted to be in a strippy club. I would be like at amateur night wearing like a cosplay of Halle Berry's Catwoman, which, you know, didn't do it the best service as far as a thespian, but we know how the lesbians felt about it. And so I'd come out with my cosplay and I'd do amateur nights all over the city and like make my little money. And it would be really funny, but at the same token, people would be like, yo, I respect it because I'd come out in cosplay, like in character. Role playing.
Before it was even a thing and people even knew about it.
Before it was a word. Big time.
Yeah, now it's all over social media now, motherfucker.
Yeah, the funny thing is like I was doing the badass cosplay shit, real scandalous, before there was really any proof of it. So
you were ahead of your time.
Shouts to the
I gotta ask you a very interesting question because, you know, I got out of it as I got older because, you know, life gets in the way. When I was younger, I was like a Super Nintendo guy. So my question to you is
Super Nintendo or just Nintendo?
No, the regular Nintendo,
OG,
the first one. The OG.
Okay,
you gotta blow.
Because by the time Super came around, we had a lot going on.
You had to put the cartridge in the freezer and the vinegar and the Q-tips and all that stuff.
Of weird shit. Yeah.
So my question to you is, what was your first console that really got you into the web?
Well, my cousins. I had cherries in my mouth. My cousins, they were all really into Atari. They were into Atari and arcade games. So we do tabletop, arcade, and Atari a lot. I wasn't the best at it, but they were really adamant about making sure that I figured it out and I can make my way through it. Like I can be decent. But like it wasn't until the Nintendo Entertainment with Duck Hunt and Mario where I was introduced to something that, although I was connected to something with chords, like I still felt like, okay, I can kind of like manage this instead of something tabletop because it was just a lot more comfortable. I can sit. And that changed everything for me. A lot of the people that see me stream know. I'm not a big fan of gaming chairs. I like to sit on the floor. You guys see me? I'm always on the fucking floor. There's a lot going on, you know, so I need to have a lot of room to spread myself, you know, while I'm picking apart these games. So I feel like my first system definitely was the arcade tabletop and Atari, but I wasn't really comfortable with the system until Nintendo.
You know, it's funny. Nintendo plays such a role in my life and programmed me so much to this day. I still remember Contra, the cheat code, up, down, left, right, BA, star, select. And
oh my God, I have a track coming out with that.
That's how
shout out to up, down, left, right.
Up, down, left, right. That's hilarious. You're crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, what was your first system?
My first, I think like the first one that kind of like went rampage in my house was Nintendo. Nintendo was, I mean, we had them all, you know, shout out to my brother. He got us all the joints. He got us the Genesis. He got us the Super Nintendo when it came out and stuff like that. So we was rocking hard.
Well, what are you guys on now?
That's why I told you that
I'm on the podcast.
I drifted out.
I haven't
now I'm like, I haven't played anything since like PS1 and they're like up to PS10. I'm out the loop now, buddy.
I don't even know what.
Well, the good thing is
I got
there's
left
a lot
behind.
going on this year. 2020, like you guys are saying, definitely threw us for a loop, but gamers can expect for this fall and this winter to have a lot of really awesome announcements. We have a new Xbox system coming out. We have a new PlayStation system coming out. The PS5 is definitely sleeker. It looks like it's in closet cosplay itself. I want the PS5 to come out of the closet.
That's funny.
But I'm still a fan. You know, I take you as you are. Like with Nirvana, come as you are.
So now let's get into the cannabis aspect of you, Bunny. Tell us, we ask everybody here, you know, we all know, we all Dominican, what a big stigma it is to use cannabis in our community and our heritage.
Yeah.
And when was it the first time that you got high, and what was the experience, and what was it like?
Oh my God, you guys want to hear about my first time?
Yeah, your first time.
Yo,
yeah,
right,
what was it?
so
Was it a blunt, a joint? What was it?
It was, let me try to remember. Fucking baby. My best friends growing up were like, oh, nah, you should totally smoke XYZ. And I'm like, nah, you know, like I'm bubbly naturally. And so I remember the first time I got high, we smoked a blunt. I didn't roll it. But my two best friends, shout to Pep and Chris, we were 14 and 15, like that age range. And, you know, we uptown Manhattan, New York girls. We don't need nobody to cop for us. We don't need nobody to light us up. Mm-hmm. We don't need shit. We just need niggas to serve us. And so we copped. I want to say we copped on the block. We went up to Edgecombe. Edgecombe on my block, of course, on 157. And Edgecombe where the horseshoe block is at and the stairs, you know? Mm. To St. Nicholas, the stairs.
Yes. Where the stairs are at. There is
we're camped out there. Shout out to those stairs for facilitating a lot of
I've never used
bum
those stairs
activity
ever.
that we had no business doing.
I never used those stairs.
So those stairs definitely filtered a lot of the bullshit. No pedophiles ever came upon us, and shout to the hood. But we smoked, and I remember thinking to myself, like, yo, I learned to my homegirls, I'm turning Chris, I'm turning around, I'm like, yo, bitches, I don't feel nothing. Because I'm a naturally high-spirited person. So, and I know now in hindsight, with all of the work that we've done in wellness and how we've evolved from when we were 14 and 15, that just the neurological components, like my chemical structure, would not have taken my first high in the way that other people would have described it, because I get high in a different way, just like you and you. So I'm turning to them and I'm like, bitches, I'm not high. I don't feel shit. This is whack. I need to go to the store. I'm mad hungry. But I was always super thick, you guys. So I was always eating. Ask about me. And I go to the store, and when I leave the store, and they waiting for me on the corner, boom, now we on Amsterdam. So I walked a little bit, and you know, that gets if you guys don't know, your body starts to move, your circulatory system starts to spread the THC in whichever way you're ingesting it through the villi, the lining of your stomach. And so, of course, I'm coming back, and the oxygen is moving through my blood with the THC from my stomach and out, because I'm eating. And that's a little too much, you know, science. But I go to literally from the store across the street, and I'm high.
Do you remember what kind of weed it was? Was some backyard
It was
boogie?
Absolutely chocolate.
Some chocolate time. But that was the finer haraka.
Chocolate nips on the bag.
That was the finer haraka in life, though. The chocolate.
Remember when they was
that was
trade
the luxury
bags
haraka.
and nicks? So you guys out there in Happy Monkey World, if you don't know, like, Bunny was around when you can buy weed for $3.
Oh, baby!
Tray bags. And I remember they were becoming extinct at this time. So at this time, when I'm like at the 15 years old, they're becoming extinct. You're lucky if you can get a tray bag, but there are nicks and dimes. And dubs were like 8. Like, oh, like, you know how now you'd be like, oh, let me just get an 8. Well, you know, so we're smoking these chocolate, you know, from the hood, whatever, regular. And I'm like, yo, my tummy feels mad warm, touch it. And these bitches are like,
fuck is you talking
put your
about?
fucking shirt down, Bunny. And I'm like, nah, but like, it's warm. I just want you to touch it. And my two homegirls are like, and I'm like, and they're like, and you know, lo and behold, later on, I'm just like, oh, okay, my eyes are warm, my tummy's warm. This is not normal. This is what it's like to be high. And forever and ever and ever, like, they laugh at me because that was like my first high. And I'm like, but touch it. My second high was super different.
Do you remember if the first one was like a paper, a Dutch, a whiteout, a Philly?
The first one was in a Garcia Vega.
Ooh, old school.
Yes, it was in a Garcia Vega, the greenish one. You know, the one that was like greenish. And then the second one was in a straight up Dutch Master. It was motherfucking tabla from Post.
Oh, the tabla way.
I thought I was ready. You guys want to hear about that shit?
Break it down.
Nigga.
The tabla.
We went, first of all, copping, it was a whole experience. Like, I'd never really
An excursion.
It was an adventure. I was like through the looking glass. I was in the rabbit hole. I'm like, what, 14, 15? No, I was 14 still. Because, you know, I was always a little bit younger than the crew. And I'm being sexually harassed to the nether realms.
To the nether realms.
Just to get some fucking
young
compressed hydroponics
Tell them what tabla is, because they might not know.
So tabla is basically compressed hydroponics. It's really, really radically compressed to a point where when you break it apart, it's like compressed wood, but think weed. So the compressed weed, when you break it apart, it opens. It's like way more than you thought that it could be. It's like concentrated. It's ridiculous. So, and it gets you freaking high. It's like petrified weed. That's what it is.
Do you remember the method to open it up? We used to put it in a gum. I used to put it in the wrapper to the gum to the winter fresh and the foil and burn it so it could open up.
Yeah. Oh my God. I used to get it in a coffin, in a plastic coffin. Don't lie.
So you can just leave it there. You can just
I get this coffin. I go and we break it up. We put it in a Dutch master. You'd be happy. You'd be really, really happy about that. I don't smoke in Dutches like that no more. I might do it today, but you never know. And we're smoking, and the warm tummy happens, the warm eyes happen, and the giggling starts to happen. And I'm like, oh shit. And we're walking, and when you in the hood, you go for walks. So you're like, we need to go walking. Like Wolf of Wall Street. And we're walking, and I look to the side at my homegirl, I look to the side at my other homegirl, and I feel like I'm in a screen, in a TV screen, like in a flat screen. I was way ahead of my time. And so I'm looking, and I'm like, but why I feel like we're in a screen? Not that we in a movie, but like everything is 2D. So I start poking my homegirl. Yo, you really there for real? But you for real there?
That tabla hit you with the tabla.
He was like, but why would you think that we're not
hit you in your mata.
And it was like one of those things where like from that point, like when I smoked really good weed that wasn't the tray or the 5 bags, it was like I would poke people and be like, oh shit, yeah, you there for real? Because everything looked like it was 2D.
2D. Okay.
So then we touched a little bit about your game and experience, cannabis. Now the next one I want to ask about, what was the epiphany that you felt like you could take your career in music and make it a thing that it could be for you? What was the event or the experience that happened to you in your life that you said, I could really do something musically?
Musically, I'd have to be 100% transparent. When I was about 15, 16 years old, I was involved with making music and recording as an art. I feel like a lot of people don't recognize that recording artists are actually like artists in their own right. You can be a painter, you can be, a dancer, a fucking figure skater, and have art in what you do. As a recording artist, I'd started recording when I was about 14, 15 years old, just fucking around with it in the studio back when Little Kim and Foxy Brown and Charlie Baltimore and Missy Elliott and Left Eye and all of my Queen Pen, as a matter of fact, all of my really amazing influences.
These were the inspirations at the time.
At the time, and I remember listening to people that weren't particularly rappers, but could sing in a way and harmonize and vocalize in a way that would allow for that kind of expression, that hip hop expression. So around my teenage years, I used to fuck around in the studio, and it wound up turning into a lot of fun, changing dynamics and leaving the studio and going into media. And there was this MNN network, Manhattan Network, where they used to have this show in the Heights and in the Bronx called Mad Cyphers.
Mad Cyphers.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mad Cyphers.
Shout out to Mad Cyphers. A lot of people got their New York shit.
Hi, Gabo. Hi, G.
They got in a lot of people got their start there.
So for me, I got my start there. That was the way for me to leave the studio fucking around and get into it on a competitive scale, and it was very fun and intense and dramatic for no reason. But when you're a teenager and you have these battles, and it was all about battle rap back then. It wasn't really what's going on now. It wasn't trendy about a dance and bringing, some kind of person down and clout chasing.
It was hard.
It was all about like real battles. It was about battles. So we would go all over the place and we would battle, and every episode would be really interesting. And so for me, that's when I realized like I could really get into recording as an artist and, rapping as a hobby in a sense. And so being on that show, Mad Cyphers, all those years ago, allowed for me to meet people that are actually in the scene now, allowed for me to meet Mano, Dave East, Mayhem. So many people, that are poignant in the scene now that I can see when I'm going to perform, you know, as a recording artist for Sony Columbia's Lost Rings, I can bump into Dave East at any time. I can bump into like Mano at any time.
So explain that to us, because I have a few questions myself. What exactly faction of Sony is the Lost Rings?
Lost Rings is actually a subsidiary. So Sony Columbia decided that they wanted to be able to set up what's called kind of like a coalition effort, kind of like a umbrella for a company of artists that can come together and be supported to be able to put their music together, be it as singles or a mixtape CD, which is actually not a CD anymore, but we just call it mixtape CD, or not a tape anymore, but we just call it mixtapes, you know, and just come together for a collaborative project that's able to bring gamers together that make music and content, but then also to give back to support resources for gamers that don't necessarily know how they want to put their art together, but need assistance and need the resources for them to kind of be transparent with themselves and figure out what exactly are their strengths, what exactly are their hobbies that they can turn into careers. And it's really fun working with Lost Rings, because otherwise, I know, not to knock Sony Columbia, because we love you guys, but it's like, I hadn't seen Sony Columbia do something like that before, where the initiative came for, it's like, we want to be the umbrella for something that's able to build a community around this music, not just funnel the funds into the label, you know, which is what a lot of mala fama, a lot of bad press, you know, that has been going around, especially like in the last age of Aquarius, you know, cycles. We're seeing a lot of people wanting to be independent and not wanting to go to labels like Sony Columbia or labels like Universal, you know, Music Group and etc. But with this new idea, with this collaborative effort, I'm excited to see the difference between what you do when you're not just taking money in and you're actually giving resources out.
How about, like, what was it? Tell us some of your pinnacles, like, as far as, like, musically, that helped you see, like, that, you know, you're definitely, you know, moving forward, and this is something that's, you know, progressing for you.
Well, a lot of positive reinforcements that I've seen along my journey to get me to a place where I can align with that opportunity. Because, like, let's be fucking honest. Like, you're presented with this opportunity, and you're just like, am I what these people expect from me? You know, my advice to other people is just in my testimony. I had no fucking clue that fucking around with music, starting out as a teenager, would turn into me understanding how to record, what a recording artist is, the layers and the dynamics that's involved in that, and having a real life. But for me, my pinnacle, my actual like catalyst moment was I had completely forgotten about wanting to be in the music field, and I went into college and I did the things, you know, you go to school and you study and you do what your immigrant parents believe to be your, you know, the wildest dreams that they'd have for you. And I had wound up in a career, I'd wound up in a career that was heavily based in food and beverage and hospitality management. And I was running the floor at one of the most amazing restaurants in Chelsea and meeting some of the best influential people in the scene, the Tepperbirds, you know, and just you name it, like they were coming in there. It was like a celebrity hotspot, and legendary Damon, which is Khalees's, you know, very good friend. He's in the Bossy video. You can see him there. He's also Jennifer Hudson's very close friend, Janelle Monáe's very close friend. He's DJ Rashida's very close friend. Like, dances on stage with Prince, rest in peace, and all of these good things. And he would always be there because he'd run the door for the celebrity parties that we'd have at the hotel that I was running the restaurant for. And I had gotten into a conversation with him, and we're just doing shit, yeah, bitch, I don't give a fuck, you know, and I'm very sassy, getting them what they need. And, you know, he's just like, bitch, you know what you really should, and I say bitch with love. He's like, you need to get into radio. I'm like, you hear my voice mad thick with the new, no. He's like, nah, but like, think about Angie. And when he said think about Angie, I was like, ding, you know what, you're right.
Think about Rosie Perez.
Right.
Word.
You know, so I started Fran Drescher.
Oh, come on.
So, and I'm thinking, you know, and then, you know, when you go into the geek world, you also have Family Guy, you know, Lois Griffin.
Lois.
So we have all these accents you know. And so I'm just like, really? He's like, yeah, your voice is just like, you should get into radio. And then I was like, my voice. But then again, it has to do with the voice and the culture around your voice and where you can lend your voice and what aspects, because you can get typecast to be the Angie, the Rosie, the Nanny Fran, and all of the things. And so I remember that was the first time, that was the pinnacle catalyst moment where I felt like, oh, damn, maybe I should do something with my voice again. And didn't really think too much of it and went into podcasting years later, when it was no longer really necessary for you to go into journalism through radio and things of the like. Podcasting was birthed, and that's when I decided that I would leave food and beverage for good and hospitality management for good, and I would be myself, which is this really hyper, but really like half dogged out, really hyper, really kawaii, but really chill vibe.
A lot going on there.
Roll you up a blunt. It's a clusterfuck of goodness and naughtiness at the same time, but you know, in an honest, transparent, just very giving way with my platform that I had already had because of all these people, these awesome people that I'd been meeting. You know, from mad ciphers to food and beverage and shit, you know? So I'm like, you know what, fuck it. So I start Girls Can't Geek. At the time, I think it was like 2015, something like that. It was just a really small idea that we put together, and every week we just show the fuck up, and there's no real magic to it. All I can say is there's little bits and pieces that you don't want to miss on the road here and there.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, there's no like pinnacle. There's just, you pick the pinnacle, but like commit to it, you know?
Well said.
And being in the podcast, that to me, that helped me a lot tremendously, because what I had learned fucking around in the studio as a youth, I was able to apply recording and then having to edit my own shit. And you guys know how that is when sometimes, God forbid, you don't check your recording before it's time to sit down and edit, and you just realize all the dismal. It's a lot going on when you're doing podcasting or any kind of audio engineering and tech. And I want to say like 2 years into my podcast, I was presented with an opportunity with Sony Columbia. They said, hey, we looked at your numbers and we looked at your influence and listened to a lot of your content. We feel like your voice has a lot to say in the musical, you know, sense. And that was, I think, 2018. And here we are, 2020, and I'm rocking in. We're releasing August 28th.
On the boulevard with Vlad and Ramon.
We're really here. We're doing the thing. We're really fucking here.
We're doing the thing.
We're doing it.
Now, I need you to explain something to some dinosaurs like Ramon and Vlad that don't really understand these things, and maybe there's other people out there that feel like us. Can you explain to us the new phenomenon of the Twitch platform and why it's so pivotal in the gaming industry and in life? Because it's taking a life of its own, basically. Can you break it down to us in layman's terms?
I mean, the thing is, people want for it to be this multi-layered, just complicated thing. It's really just, okay, in layman terms, you want to share your shit, like, you know, the Facebookers. You want to go Facebook Live. You want to share your shit, the YouTubers. You want to put out your vlog. Well, essentially, people who create, we kind of have a shit ton of bullshit when we're trying to put our stuff out on either YouTube or Facebook or any of these other platforms. With Twitch, we're able to broadcast our gameplay. It's a blatant, instant, you know, share of the realm that we're in, the mood that we're in. If I've been, you know, heavily into the Ghost of Tsushima for 2.5 weeks straight, just by watching my Twitch, you know what type of vibe I'm on when I'm going to any other social media. It's like it's carrying on of the conversations in a different sense for people that are into the gaming world. Now, when you're into the music world, it's a great way to be able to mix the two, because while you're watching someone stream on Twitch, you know, people that are dinosaurs, I'm giving it to you from the visual, and then I'll give it to you from the interactive. Please. You know, so when you're watching, if you're into music and you're not into gaming so much so, but you want to watch somebody else's broadcast, you can listen to their take on, like, the Thong Song video. You know, shouts to Cleo. But I have a few friends, like I have a homeboy on the West Coast, he'll put the Thong Song video on the back of his green screen while he's like belting out the tunes and like spinning around. And then he'll get right back into Resident Evil's remake, like, you know, nothing. And so it's a more engaging for the viewer in that aspect, or things like me, like where I'll be able to share me playing a game that's absolutely not competitive and absolutely not trendy, but just makes me feel in a certain way where it inspires for me to be able to make vocals or tell a story. Like the first time I played this game, or, oh, wow, that really triggered me to this one time when I played this game. And I can really like fess up and confess to things and be transparent. And it definitely allows for you to, like when you're in therapy, I don't know if anybody ever went to like, or watch a child therapist, like on SVU or whatever, like when they give the candy or the toy to the kid and then they'll like talk to the kid at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's a great therapeutic moment because you don't realize we have groundbreaking things we're sharing with one another because we're all just playing with the sandbox while we're sharing. So that's the viewer's aspect, like the sharing aspect. But then when it comes to monetary, it's a great way for you to be able to create and get your money because we're on the Facebooks, the Twitters, and all of the like.
And I heard that they pay more. I heard they pay more than the YouTubes, the Facebooks, and the Instagrams.
Absolutely. And so I want for you guys to know, as a person who's not a viewer, someone who is receiving, an income from people subscribing, because that's a very big basis of the content that you're giving out. People that are viewing are actually subscribing, be it like $1 to $100, whatever it is that they'd like to sign up for. You see the benefit immediately. Even like if you have 2 followers, your 2 followers are helping you out financially. Whereas on Instagram, we've been on Instagram for freaking forever, right? It feels like. Fact. And Instagram is just growing and gaining and grossing. And here we are still paying for our own mics, headsets, and the candy and the nuts and, and the Ubers and all of this shit. And here we're just making everybody rich. And while, yes, Twitch is becoming richer because we're on it, it just makes for a better environment for you to be able to see what you are worthy of and have a springboard, a platform for you to see how much more you want to make. And, potentially leave Twitch and set your own bar.
Are you more into the player thing or the story mode?
Well, because I'm a fan of RPGs, role-playing games, I am a big fan of anything that has, whether it's first-person shooter, third-person shooter, story mode with action-adventure, or just first-person shooter, third-person shooter with just like action-adventure mode with story. Well, that's kind of the same, but loot and shoot or just go through the story. Like, for example, there's games that bring the two together, like what's happening right now with COD, with the Warzone and Modern Warfare. That's kind of got the two together where you can be able to follow story, but you can be able to do online and loot and shoot and have a great bang out time, clan up. But there's games like, for example, like an action adventure game, an RPG that I like, maybe that's like Red Dead Redemption. That kind of does the both too. But there's some that don't, like Control, which is a Remedy game. That's just a story. It's a story mode action adventure game. It's a dope RPG. There's this girl from like Guiding Light on it. The girl from Guiding Light, like an English novela, a soap opera one. She's the chick on it. Like there's a lot of really, and then there's other RPGs that you play that are like The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. Where you're playing this character, you go into this world, and so that's what I'm more into. I am a fan of keeping up with esports and, that side of gaming. The esports gaming side is more for e-athletes, for you guys that are dinosaurs. So we'll say that's like, but I mean, I don't say that in any negative, but it's just like I want to make sure because a lot of people think, oh, you're in gaming, so esports is you. No. There's tiers, there's levels. It's like,
different sections.
It's different. So if you're into like Madden and FIFA and MLB and like 2K and things of that nature, you're more in the esports sector. And if you're into games like tournament circuits, you're into esports, whether it's in the fighting game circuit or you might be in the online gaming circuit, like for Overwatch games, which are heavily based, online, team up. So I'm into watching that. And then playing on my own time, but it's a good time. We pack arenas. It's crazy.
So now you guys know, for dinosaurs like Vlad and Ramon, you just got a one-on-one crash course on gaming. Now I need to ask the next question, Bunny. How does consuming cannabis help your creative juices when it comes to gaming, when it comes to music, when it comes to all these creative things that you do?
Well, one of the things that I like to do is always disrupt the stereotyping of things. I mean, I like to be a clusterfuck of things so that I'm never like proving one agenda right over the other. Let's just prove them all right and wrong at the same time, So there's this stigma where like the typical gamer is like this white American or just white European in
In
general.
Nebraska?
Just, living at the mom's house, couch potato mentality, or just like the young kid still lives at home, still also white. So most of what I try to tell people is like, I like to disrupt that archaic narrative. I like to show people that we definitely are more than just bong ripping on a couch, screaming for meatloaf and sandwiches from the basement, I have had quite a journey with marijuana consumption. I started consuming marijuana right around the time that I started playing I definitely played video games way before I started smoking weed on 157th and Edgecombe. But I do remember it being like one of those things for me where it kind of like goes hand in hand, because when you're waiting between updates, you got plenty of time, So, or when you're waiting between the non-skippable story mode, there's always some time, laggy time where you're waiting. And so it's a great moment between gameplay mode and story mode where you're just like ripping a bong. I used to smoke weed a lot more than I do now. But my journey started like bong rips, blunts and joints and spliffs. Then I was introduced to things like edibles and wellness.
What's your favorite now?
Right now, because of my lifestyle,
yeah.
This is my favorite. I like to have like a pen. I just add my cartridge, and it's got the THC 90 to 90 something percent. THC, and then I just screw
That's
it
sativa
in.
hybrid. What are you more into?
This is an indica at the moment. This is definitely an indica at the moment. It's a budding cake.
We like to
oil.
call it either nighttime or daytime weed.
Nighttime weed,
That's
yeah.
nighttime.
So I like to have in oils something that's a little stronger that'll kind of calm me down. I'm not against smoking, like burning the flower itself. I do that more when I'm like in LA than I do out here. I'm not a fan of smelling. And that's what I tell people. The reason why my favorite is this here is because I'm not a fan of smelling like I burned anything, smoked anything, and no judgments ever. I just really like smelling fucking great. It's a thing, you get to a place in your life where you start to accept different feedback from people as you meet them, smokers and non-smokers alike. So as a gamer, I could tell like when I'm going around people and you tell them you're a gamer and you don't smell like weed at all and you don't look like, you've been on a couch potatoing for years. It's a different feedback that you get from them. Like, wow, you really reinforced breaking stereotypes, Whereas when I'm introducing myself to people, hey, my name is BunnyMightGameU's. I'm one of the first female Afro-Latina Hispanic artists that are a gamer, and I'm here to do whatever, Hi, how you doing? And you're reeking of fucking blunt smoke and weed all over the place. You're kind of reinforcing a stigma. So I like to, also because I was raised by Dominican parents that are like freaking psychotic. And no, porque tú no te puedes salir de la casa hediendo nada.
Fumando droga.
So, all of those things being said, I've kind of been PTSD'd into giving a fuck about what I smell like and what I look like in public. And just for the self, even, in private. So that's the reason why my journey has kind of brought me to a place where, like, I am going to not be the typical couch potato gamer that people think. I'm going to be in media. I'm going to be in entertainment. I'm going to be meeting a lot of people. Like, do I want to represent people in the best way that I can based on the way I was taught in my foundation, my morals and standards and values, not the typical gamer, because I want to be able to do more than the typical gamer so that it can give them somewhere to go. Mm-hmm. You can't, if you don't have an atlas, you can't kind of make your way through the terrain. If you don't have a map, how do you know where to go? So it's one of those things where I'm like, I definitely moved on to this. Sometimes I'm on that. But my journey has been a lot of wanting to be a little more responsible for the rest of the pack.
What role do you think gaming has played in either empowering women and people of color or not?
Gaming, I felt like, wouldn't be able to play a role as far as empowering women. I feel like it would fill the void for women to empower themselves. It's like in that movie, The Matrix, where the perspective one tells Neo, remember that there is no spoon. Bend your mind, yeah? So it's one of those things where I don't feel like we can place that much power on gaming.
But you think
as
it's created
women.
opportunities for females and
It's
people of color?
it's filled the void that was very prevalent. There was always a void where as women and as girls, we felt like there was something there that we could have totally used to empower ourselves, but there was always this void, this non, acknowledged void. And now we're able to use it ourselves. Like the fact that there was a void was in gaming and in geekdom, in fandoms, where back when we started Girls Can't Geek, my podcast, I was just like, that's why the name of my podcast is Girls Can't Geek, because I was always told I can't game because I'm a fucking girl and I've got, curves and I'm pretty in the face based off of, colonial standards. And, the colonizer said my hair's, fair and my skin is fair. And so, my body's, congratulations about your body, so you can't this, you can't that. So for me, when we started to look at gaming as a way to empower ourselves, we took the initiative on our own because of how many times we heard we could not. And so there are women in gaming, women in this space like Erin Ashley Simon that are taking the bull by its horns and really making sure that women in this space, particularly Black, Hispanic, Afro-Hispanic women in this space or Afro-Latina women in this space that are able to blend in and kind of take away that stigma to where it's always this boobalicious girl with the glasses and the big ponytails and looking very Spice Girls-ish. We come in different sizes. We come in different shapes. Some of us are fucking moms. Some of us have to live with our moms. There's a lot of different avenues, and we're all gaming. And some of us are on PC. Some of us are on Xbox or consoles like, PlayStation and Switch or the Wii. Fuck it, and at the end of the day, it's not really something that gave us the power. We decided we would take it because of how long we were hearing that there was nothing for us in it. And shouts to girls like Erin Ashley that are in this space, and Colette G, also that are in this space, that have been in space for a while and are creating platforms for people like me, myself, to be able to, sit and talk about what it is that we love to do.
No, thank you for enlightening us. Because like I said, a lot of people, just hear like myself that there's so many amazing things going in gaming and Twitch, but not exactly the nuts and bolts and the details of what role it's playing in people's life and how it's affecting people. And, so it's really good for people, like I said, that are removed like me, that left it off in the Nintendo era to understand how much this has evolved.
Yeah, it's a big time. It's probably the biggest industry. It's like cars, gaming. And I feel like gaming makes way more money than anything else. They just haven't applied themselves enough to be able to gather the proper data analytics because we're so misrepresented. But stay tuned. There's so much going on, especially post-COVID. I remind people all the time, like now all of a sudden, the couch potatoes are saving the world and we're fucking being praised. But shouts to us, I just feel like a lot of people don't realize a lot of the training and models for all of this remote everything that we're doing comes from gamers and communities in online gaming that we were being able to game and party chat with each other. Freaking, web, all of these avenues that you guys are enjoying, you're fucking welcome.
We need to put my man Vladimir on our Twitch, Ralph, and just have him do the shoulders once a week. Shoulders. Do one game and shoulders. Boom. Shoulders.
So you guys gonna light me up before we get out of here, huh?
Yeah. Let's light up.
I'm so happy you guys brought me in today. This has been for a long time coming.
Overdue.
Yeah. I gotta come back sometime soon.
So, Bunny, we always talk about me and Ramon, like you mentioned earlier, the last 6 months, it's been a very pivotal time in history, from COVID to George Floyd, all these things. So, we feel like this is such a pinnacle time in history that it's going to be like BCAD, like pre-COVID, post-COVID, because it's that much of a big impact.
PC, yeah,
because
before COVID,
it's going to be that serious. So what I want to ask you is, how do you think pre-COVID, post-COVID gaming industry, pre-COVID, post-COVID music industry, how do you see that?
I'm so happy you asked me that. Prior to COVID, gaming industry was already top of top, lined up right with cannabis industry and things of the like. I feel like in hindsight, like after COVID, gaming industry is going to be respected and revered, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of of investment going into the VR, AR, and CGI technologies. We're going to have augmented reality as part of everything that we do, including remote gaming. I said that shit here. Because, you know, we as gamers, we can game from our console from not even being home. In case you
I saw a girl in front of my face.
Just like Apple can get on your MacBook.
I saw a girl from her phone with a little projector open up her gaming situation on the fly.
What's that sound?
I don't know.
It sounds beautiful. Whatever that is.
So I saw that, and it just showed me how
laptop.
much things have advanced. She just out of nowhere was playing a game from her phone, had a little projector, and was like ready to go. Like,
we're able to do so many more things, and I feel like after COVID, gaming now, it's not just going to be that. It's an industry that's top notch in gross, you know, and in making revenue. It's also going to be top of the line in introducing what the rest of the world needs to do in order to stay the fuck afloat. You're going to learn so much about how to keep the world running from gamers. My prayer and my mantra is for Black and brown kids to be introduced into AR, VR, augmented realities, and virtual realities, and coding. So that, and if you're not into that, just engineering light, engineering sound, just so that you can be able to have a prerequisite to be able to have a fighting chance in the future that we're about to be stepping into post-COVID. And that's as far as tech and gaming is concerned. For music, I say the fucking same. Everything is going virtual. You will not be seeing any music festivals anytime soon. We're looking at maybe 2022 when we're even going to see the possibility of a social distant Coachella. So with that being said, I need for you guys to understand, getting into music, own your own shit. Go into the app store, whether you have a Google phone or a OS phone. Purchase your, membership for United Masters. Just search United Masters in the app store, whatever your phone you have. Own your own shit. Don't go to these labels. I said that. The reason I say that is because the labels want to look at you and what your data analytics are. Don't let those words scare you. That's basically your numbers, your report card for what you're doing. Instagram and all these socials, including Twitch, will already give that to you if you go into your membership and you allocate your membership into something that you can look and access your set in your settings. Whatever it is, who's looking at you, what demographics looking at you, where they're coming from, what their gender is. Sorry, I said gender. So in the music space, I say the same thing. Get technical with it. Because you see motherfuckers with bullshit coming out here and getting Grammys. So just get technical with it. The music space before COVID was very hopeful and hopeless romantic. Get real with your music now post-COVID. Do the fucking work, because labels are not coming to you to give you that shiny pony unless they know they don't have to do shit for it, and you already did. So, and take that from me, music is not the only thing that I do. I'm into podcasting. I'm into, hosting. I'm also into all types of avenues of production and media entertainment. So take it from me. If you're going to get into music, post-COVID, it's very much more about you than it was pre-COVID. You're seeing a lot of these artists come up with CGI and augmented reality for their content that they're bringing out. Look at the way that they had Tory Lanez, warning. He had a whole show during COVID, and it was like one of the most,
followers.
and then you have DJ, DJ Spade did another one that had like millions of people all over the world. So I say this to say they want to see you doing the footwork. They want to see that you are who, they can go to and not do much and just add milk and stir and make fucking instant hot cocoa with the marshmallows on top and say that they was the one that fucking developed it organically. It's an artisanal cocoa. Right. Nah. And you did all the work. So I say that to say, get on United Masters, own your own shit, let the labels be on your dick.
Boom.
And just take post-COVID as a way to remind you, as long as you're here, you survived it, there's a reason for you to be here. Don't be lazy.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You guys usually get the motivational speech from Vlad, but this lady has the energy to win. So now you know it's just not me always being over optimistic. We have others out here that feel the same way I do.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me.
Now, Miss Renaissance Woman, we have the $1 million question for you. And since you've watched our evolution and our trajectory from the beginning, I would like to hear your opinion. If you had to describe Happy Monkey, the movement, the events, everything you know about it, in one word, what would it be and why?
One word: freedom.
Why freedom?
Why? Is because freedom would represent, this is the wildest dream that we would have had when we were kids. This quintuples, this octuples what we thought it would be like. Remember when we used to talk about the Wii Festival in Washington Square Park, and we used to be like, "Yo, remember when they used to come up with lies about it? There's a helicopter.
Yeah.
The helicopter drops joints all over the park."
Yeah, we from all the way uptown.
We really thought that this was a thing, and so I say that Happy Monkey in a word is freedom, because the three of us that you're looking at right now grew up in the same neighborhood with the same hopes, and we really all we wanted was to be outside with weed, smoking it, it not be a thing.
That's it.
And keep doing it until we were done, and we wouldn't hurt a thing.
No.
And that would be freedom to us. And this is just beyond freedom. This is. So I say Happy Monkey in a word to me, because of where we come from. Happy Monkey is freedom. It's freedom and beyond their wildest dreams. But you said one word.
And that's our first time hearing that somebody using that one word. And thank you for those kind words.
Thank you guys for setting us free.
For always believing and supporting us. And thank you for everything you do for gaming, for the culture, for our country, for our neighborhood, and everything that you've been able to accomplish so far, and always keeping our culture and our neighborhood in mind. It means a lot. You're inspiring a lot of young women that come from where we come from to know that it's possible.
Yeah, to do different shit, man. It's all good.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
yes,
there you go. This lady dropped a plethora of jewels for you in so many different sectors.
I like that word.
And gaming, music, life,
all the
science. So
all the shits.
Thank you, and we wanted you, Bunny, to tell all the people what should they expect for the rest of 2020 from you, from your company, from all your amazing endeavors, and where can they keep up to date to find out what's happening?
Well, for the rest of 2020, we have the Lost Rings project coming out. Our mixtape is released at the end of this month, August 28th. We will be releasing tracks that you have not heard yet. My new track, New York Drip, featuring EXN from Korea. She's with Sony in Asia, and she's just very amazing. We did a really fun track that's Overwatch themed. For the New York XL team. It's the Overwatch team that's based out of here. Esports is really big here. And we're looking forward to a bunch of other tracks from Black Crystal and Sunzy Bay. But as far as my 2020 is concerned, I'm going to be a part of the Virtual Geek Music Festival. I'm also doing Warzone with the WNBA. I'm doing Warzone with the United States Air Force. And there's a lot of work coming in the space of the remote gaming. And I'm working with a lot of really cool channels like TNT Drama. I'm working with HBO and National Geographic, Nat Geo, Discovery Channel, and which one? Oh, and Quibi. Shout out to Quibi, the new channel out of LA. We're doing short episodes, under 10 minutes flat. And so they're really involving me with giving the feedback and jumping in on a panel prior to any of their big TV releases. So whatever their streaming service is releasing, I'll be able to be a part of the virtual premiere, be in the panel, and kind of tell you guys if it's hot or not.
Hot or not.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Look out for this young lady. She's destined for greatness.
Thank you.
And we want to tell you, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we like to stay positive here on the Boulevard. You're too blessed to be stressed. Things that get greater later. For now, checking out Vlad, Bunny Might Game You, Ramon. Till the next episode, peace, love, and happiness, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.
What's good, everybody? This is your nigga Ralph, trying to keep you fresh with the info from Happy Monkey every single podcast. You already know what it is. If you haven't followed us yet, follow us on Instagram at HappyMunkey_ or Happy Monkey Goodies. Now remember, that's monkey with a U. Also, if you haven't checked us out, we're on YouTube. So check out our channel, Happy Monkey TV. Keep us current, live, and everything with the culture.